It is Tuesday, Tea at 2, Season 3, Episode 34. How you doing? How you feeling? Happy new month. It is September. We are in the 9th month, in the number 9 year. So please make sure that you are paying attention to the upcoming 999 portal. It is all about completion. We are in a 9 year, ladies and gentlemen. We have to think about what it is we are leaving behind. This is not just a regular end of the year, welcoming the new year. This is welcoming a new cycle, a new energy in regards to decade type of energy, because we're going into a 10-year for 2026. So pay attention to what it is that does not need to follow you into this new cycle, into this new decade energy, into this new timeline that you ultimately get to define for yourself. 999 portal is incoming. We are in this new month. We are in the transitionary energy between summer into fall. Whenever we're in this, juxtaposition type of energy, we've got the hot, and now we're going into the cool temperatures. Some days it's still hot, but then by night it's cool. There's like these major contrasts that happen within 24 hours, is very indicative of the transformation and the transition that's happening for our lives. And it is especially powerful because we are tapping into eclipse season. We are days away from our lunar eclipse on the 7th of September. Tapping into Pisces energy, which is another energy in regards to completion, ending of cycles, right? When we're tapping into Pisces, it is the last sign of the zodiac before we tap into going into Aries alignment, into the first energy. So whenever you're tapping in to, again, culmination, completion, release to increase, this is a very, very, very potent time to do that with this lunar eclipse, tapping in to Pisces energy, tapping in 2 days before the 999 portal in a 9-year, 9-month, 9th day on that particular day. But again, just in general, September is the energy of completion, the energy of release to increase, that energy of number 9, ruled by Oya, the Orisha of the graveyards, of death in that sense, but death in the sense of, again, what we're burying, what we're letting go, the Orisha of change, the winds of change, the storms, that energy of let it all fall down, the Orisha of the tower in the tarot card, in the tarot deck. So it's going to be intense. Eclipse season always is. It is what it is, but it's about the shakeup and the breakup that needs to happen for your breakthrough. Okay? Don't be afraid. Be strong. We're going to be all right. We got this. We got this. We got this. So I have tons of notes because there's a lot of downloads, especially it being Virgo season and the fact that we have this bordering new moon energy, both tapped into Virgo. We had at the top, at the end of August, tapping into our Virgo new moon at 0 degrees, super powerful. And now we're going to be on the 21st of September, going into a solar eclipse, new moon energy in Virgo at 28 degrees, I believe. So that is very, very powerful to be bordering our Virgo season, because Virgo season is all about health. It's about our recovery. It's about prioritizing ourselves. It's about self-care and self-study, paying attention to things in terms of even the notion of perfectionist, meaning just to do things in the most optimal way, in the most best way, working smarter, not harder kind of thing, detoxing ourselves. Prime time in Virgo season to do that. Again, the fact that Virgo season is in an ending in the 9th month, but really kind of has most of its stay in the 9th month, is really, again, very, very much important for us to prioritize our health, our diet, the things that we're bringing in. Something that came up last night, ton of other downloads that I'm going to be sharing, because I'm a Virgo stellium. So because I have 4 placements in Virgo, Mercury communicates with me very, very clearly, very directly. I've got a Virgo moon, I have a Virgo Saturn, I have my North Node in Virgo and my vertex in Virgo. So I'm getting it on multiple very anchoring positions to get shit together and keep shit together, right? So when things are disarrayed, like I'm so not okay with that. So I just find ways to make things make sense. This is a time, the 9th month is a time to make things make sense. Make the math, ultimately. Hey, Carlitos is a Virgo, awesome, awesome. So you know what I'm talking about. Mercury, who rules Virgo, is very much dropping in major, major downloads. We're going to get major, major downloads during this time, especially again, having eclipse season, having 2 eclipses happening during this time in Virgo season. So expect it, embrace it. It's gonna again be shake up, break up kind of energy. Relationships, certain things are gonna fall away. Things are falling away. It's that energy of rejection is protection. It's going to fall away to make space for what is actually meant for you. Trust the process. Trust the creator. Trust your ancestors, your angels, your guides. Trust yourself. Because more often than not, we get this information, but it's not information, it's confirmation, just like I say about my readings. So accept it, know what it is, believe to receive that it is all happening for your highest good. It is happening for you. It is not happening to you. Okay. Sahaj, how are you? Welcome, welcome. I'm doing well. Thank you for joining the live. Thank you, thank you. So part of the downloads, like I was saying, thing that came through, especially in regards to Virgo season and our health and this time in terms of detoxing, we come into alignment with thinking about our health and eating better, like eating to live and not living to eat, eating to live and not living to eat, right? So we're tapping in an energy of making sure that we are eating the right things, but we're not always thinking about what we need to stop doing. So it's counterproductive to process, I'm gonna eat better, I'm gonna eat in terms of what you're ingesting and adding to your diet if you're not removing and taking things out of your diet. In manifestation, when it comes to cleansing, detoxing, emotionally, physically, whatever it is more so in us focusing on what we need to remove that is no longer working and that is not good for us, even more so than what it is that we're putting in. Because even if we're thinking about what we're putting in, and this is again, whether it's food, whether it's communication with people, whether it's who we're exposing ourselves to, whether it's social media, we need to pluck weeds before we plant seeds across the board, because there's no space for what it is that we're trying to bring in anyway, or it just gets canceled out because the negative and the low vibration and the not healthy is there taking up space and doing the damage that it's doing. So focus on the removal, focus on that release for the increase to come through, focus on the detox, focus on the cleansing, on the catharsis, and then the space is made, things are clear, things are more purified, detoxified, purified, fortified, for you to then add in what is actually going to be doing more work ultimately. If you're bringing in nutrients and minerals and all of these things, but you're dealing with toxins, and it's gonna cancel each other out, just like I said. So clear out, cleanse out, remove. It's also gonna help you first get into the right routine and the right discipline and the right consistency, because you're focusing now on eliminating a bad habit, which is so much harder to do than deciding, okay, I'm going to start doing and adding this thing that's better for me. You're going to put yourself more through the challenge and through the change to stop something that your body is used to, something that again is habit and routine, and be very proud of yourself. And once you go through that consistency and go through that discipline and you've conquered that, it's going to be so much easier for you to now introduce something new and something better. That brings me to this other download that I got last night when I do lives every night now on TikTok. So follow me on TikTok, Sabrina Sahara Shares on TikTok. So I'm doing my lives there at 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time every night. Building tribe immediately. It's incredible. Like, I'm monetizing already on TikTok. It's freaking awesome. And the people are freaking awesome. So my tribe is building. It's going great. So one of the downloads that came through and I just said it. And as I said it, I had to stop and write it down. We're so good at imagining the bad. We should be better at imagining the better. Or the best. We're so good at imagining the bad. We should be better at imagining the best. Because I was talking about the fact that our imagination is ultimately what creates our form and our experience. Good, bad, and ugly. We are manifesting 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, every single nanosecond of the day we are manifesting. But for some reason, because of conditioning and society and blah, 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 right? Which is all external projections, we still have to take accountability for ourselves and decide, I'm not doing it that way anymore. Because again, it's the things that we've been taught and told versus trusting our own inner truth, right? So when we think about how we are conditioned and programmed as we play this game of life, And have to align with the fact that we are not players in this game, because players get played. We are programmers. So we have to now reprogram. But the same way we're talking about the detoxing and we have to remove and pluck weeds before we plant seeds, we've got to deprogram. We have to remove the algorithms that don't work, the viruses that don't work, all of these things before we recode, before we reprogram, before we put in the better algorithm, right? So when we tap into the fear-based things and the choices that we're making, our minds, our imagination is so wired to automatically go to the thing that we're fearing, to the thing that we're worried about. And I was making the analogy as a mom, you watch your kids. I watch my daughter, and every time she runs, since she was little, I'd say, be careful, baby. And even just us saying be careful is fear-based. Like when we think about it, really, because the reason I would say, and the reason that I did say be careful, is because I was already seeing the fall. I was already seeing the scraped knee. I was already seeing the busted or the bruised or the broken. You know what I'm saying? So the fact that we can automatically and so quickly go there and then make a choice in the now based on the fear, the worry, the thing we have to be careful, we don't want to happen, we're literally manifesting it. We're literally creating the condition to actually happen and form an experience. So the fact that we're so good, and that's why that came up, it just literally flew out of my mouth. We're so good at imagining the bad that we should be better at imagining the best. Like, why are we so good at that? Why is it so automatic for us to think of the bad thing that can happen, the thing to be careful and be mindful and all the things, oh my God, that could, and we're there already. Before it happens, we're there. But yet we're wondering why all of the good things that we want, all of the best and the better that we want is not happening, because we're not as trained, we're not as quick with it. We're not practicing that enough. It is definitely not part of our conditioning, which is, again, why we've got to like declutter all of that stuff on every level so that we can get better at imagining the best. So that was one of the downloads. Wanted to make sure to remember that. I want to give thanks, first and foremost, for all of you being here. As always, I give thanks to Baba Ozain, the Orisha of everything that is green and grows. We are tapping into cilantro today, very much in alignment with the detoxifying, with inflammation. When we think about inflammation, it's not just a physical thing, right? It's a growth. It's things that just like are getting bubbled up and getting us bent out of shape that do not serve us. So it's in alignment, very, very physical as well as emotional. It's an antioxidant, so thinking about free radicals and detoxing the body and all of that stuff completely clears us out. Great with lutein, so it's really good for our eyes. So tap into the third eye energy and seeing things more clearly, seeing your own vision more clearly, so that everything that is meant for you can start to come through that much quicker. Great for digestion, and digestion, I always tap into digestion, not just as a physical thing, but again, the things that we're digesting. Just like we're talking about, there's one thing to add in what is good, what we think is good, but we have to first clear things out. So as we're in this energy of thinking about digestion, think about what it is that we are digesting every day. Physically, in terms of our food and our drink, what we're watching on the news and on social media, the company that we keep, the self-talk, all of that is part of what we are digesting every single day. Heart healing. So when we're tapping into the fact that we manifest from the heart, another thing that came through is that our thoughts create. And these things are, when we say be mindful, it's because the same thing we're talking about imagination, that we're so good at imagining the bad, that we should be better at imagining the best. We think of these things first. And then it's when we think of them that we have an emotional response, emotion, energy in motion. So we are now putting that thought into motion. And that is what is now manifesting. And that is what's going to come into form and experience. So as much as we are manifesting from our feelings derive from our thoughts. So it starts and is created in the thoughts, in the imagination, but then it is literally manifested through the heart space, through our emotions, through the energy in motion. So be mindful, because that is what is going to now come into form and experience based on how that thought makes us feel. Okay? Good, bad, or ugly. That's the fact of it. Anti-inflammatory, as I mentioned. There are often high allergies for people that have cilantro, also known as coriander. So be careful, right? In terms of if you potentially have an allergy. And again, it's important to be careful and be mindful, and all of that is in alignment, and be smart and all of these things. But we just have to make sure that we are anchoring in the root of it, if it is fear-based. Because just like a quote that I read the other day and I shared, I think a couple weeks ago or last week, fear is a misuse of our imagination. So if it is derived in fear, that's where we have to think about, why am I scared of this thing? What is the worst that can happen? Oftentimes we feel like we're on the edge of a cliff and we've got a choice to stay on that edge of the cliff and or just freaking leap off and have faith in the surrender of it all, because the alternative is just standing there stuck and paralyzed in fear, ultimately. So choices, choices, choices. But if you think you may be, allergic, if you have hay fever, other type of allergies, then obviously be smart. That's not about fear-based or whatever. It's just being common sense. Don't drink cilantro if you may potentially be allergic to it. So that's that. Tapping into fushite in alignment with our coriander, because it is also very much in alignment with the detoxing energy, with our heart healing. It is a very kind of flaky type of crystal and has, a lot of little flecks and all of that stuff. So it brings in the energy of our shine and making sure that our heart feels very happy, and sparkly and all of that stuff. It is the stone of health. So again, tapping into Virgo season with our double Virgo new moons, going into now a Virgo freaking solar eclipse on the 21st. Is about health, it's about healing, it's about detoxing, it is about doing the best things, again, the making sense, doing things that make sense for our bodies. Cool? Self-care, self-worth, optimal healing, simple pleasures, heals our traumas, intuition, inner growth, all of that good stuff. So again, I thank you. And I give thanks to Baba Uzain, the Orisha of everything that is green and grows. Yum. And if you can drink cilantro, make soup, load it up. It is the best thing to put in, especially this harvest season energy when it starts to get a little bit cooler, going into the winter. Throw some carrots, some potatoes, whatever it is that you make like a good, nice soup with or stew. Throw some cilantro in there. Awesome for your immune system and just tastes really, really good. And if you use any like Mexican type dishes, if you like tacos and fajitas and that kind of thing, cilantro is the perfect topping. Fresh. The fresher, the better. The fresher, the better. All right, so it's 219. So let's pull this card and then I will blah, blah, blah on the rest of the stuff. And touch base. Alafia Queen. How you doing, Ro? I see you. My sister is here. Hello, Sister Tash. I love you, Sese. Love and light to you. Blessings, blessings. We here. Season 3, episode 34, Tuesday Tier 2, keeping it going. All right, so somebody give me a stop top or a stop bottom, unless we get a single card that flies out. Thank you for the hearts, thank you for the love. Thank you, and y'all follow me on the TikTok, okay? Because things be popping on the TikTok. I'm doing speed reads every night at 10 p.m., just for about an hour and a half. I always have to close the list, have a waiting list, because I just do like a top 5 and the tribe is growing and people are awesome and I'm grateful. So stop top, stop bottom. Somebody give it to me. That's not one card, so I gotta keep shuffling. 220. It's 220. Spirit tapping in. What is our universal law? Top. My sister chose top. Let's see what we got. The law of divine will, tapping into the number 10. As I was just talking about, we were in a 9-year. We are going into our 999 portal on September 9th. It is the energy of completion. Clear out what doesn't serve before you get into this new 10 energy for 2026. Divine will. Stop waiting for a sign. The universe responds to your beliefs. Thank you, because there was one more thing that I came across. This wasn't a download. And that's probably why I didn't remember. There was something that came through from a video that I was watching that totally blew my mind. And I shared it on the live for the past 2 nights on the TikTok live that this is in perfect alignment for, which I will share right after with the 222 because it's 221 right now. And I don't want to start blah, blah, blahing because I know once I share this thing, we're going to blah, blah, blah. I also didn't share yesterday's Momentum Monday quote, so I got to do that. And then 2 other downloads. 222. Balance and harmony surrounds me. Balance and harmony surrounds me. Balance and harmony surrounds me. Ashe. I put so much cilantro when I make soup that I'm drinking this tea and I feel like I'm drinking soup because of how much the cilantro takes over the flavor of my soup when I make soup. Put cilantro in your soup. It's everything. I stop waiting for a sign. The universe responds to my beliefs. I stop waiting for a sign. The universe responds to my beliefs. I stop waiting for a sign. The universe responds to my beliefs. I remember walking down to the train maybe 6-7 years ago. And in my mind, I was thinking about whatever the process that I was dealing with. And I was just like, whatever will be, will be. And in that moment, Spirit said, no, what you will be. What do you will? What is your divine will? What do you believe that the universe is going to respond to, good, bad, or ugly? So since then, I don't say whatever will be. I say what I will be. You are God. You are in direct, clear communication and alignment with the creator of the universe. You are co-creating and co-curating this experience. So your will is their will. Your will is God's will. And it's not necessarily about everything that you want. And this is where we have that question of, well, if it was my will, this is what I wanted and it didn't happen. You will always get what you need. You may not always get what you want. And this is the thing. Sometimes we are putting our quote unquote will, but it's not divine will. There's a difference in that sense. So we're again using words however we want to use words because it's all we got. Sometimes it's all we got. But we have to surrender, we have to detach, we have to trust. That's the free fall. That even when we are manifesting something and it is our will that we are commanding and demanding and naming and claiming, if it does not happen, that is the true test of faith. That is the true test of patience. That is the true test of gratitude. And it is those three that will always get you back in alignment to make sure that you get what is actually indeed your divine will. Stay in that alignment. You're welcome, sisters. Truth. Ashe. So this is what is up. The other message that I was listening to something the other day that this totally aligns with. I listened to this whole thing about, what you're bringing in and, the abundance is coming and it's here and all of these things and it's here and it's here. And I've been saying that to everybody. It's here. We have to stop saying it's coming because when we say it's coming, it's always coming, right? So they're talking about it's here, name it, claim it, demand it, command it, like I always say. The last thing this video said was what you are waiting for is waiting for you to stop waiting for it. I was like, what did you just say? What you are waiting for is waiting for you to stop waiting for it. Dude, mind blown, okay? Like, think about it. That's literally like Spirit saying the fact that you are waiting for it, you're putting your own ish on pause. You are waiting. That's the same thing of like, it's coming. You're constantly in the waiting, in the pause, in the on ice. Instead, name, claim, demand, command that it is here, that it is done, that it's not so be it, it's been. Like we are the ones that have to catch up. So catch up. So just catch up and just say like, yo, I'm not like, it's here, it's done, it's here, it's been, it's done. So that totally blew my mind. Like what you are waiting for is waiting for you to stop waiting for it. That's like your manifestation going like, when you serious, I'll be right here. Like when you ready, all right, okay. You ready yet? No? Okay. Are you still waiting? You're still waiting for me? You're waiting for me? You're waiting for me? Because I'm waiting for you. So what's going to happen? So what are we doing? That's what's up. So stop waiting. Stop putting yourself on hold. Stop putting yourself on pause. Stop putting yourself on ice for whatever it is that you claim to want and need so much. And that's that. Yesterday's Momentum Monday quote was, I start this new month with the drive to thrive. I no longer survive. I no longer strive. When we tap into the energy of thriving over surviving and striving, we are in the energy of surviving. You're literally like last gasp, right? Coming up for air kind of thing. Like I almost died is surviving. That's not really high vibrational. We're not surviving anymore, guys. Okay. We're not doing that anymore. The energy of striving is that it's a lot of work, that it's heavy lifting, that it's difficult, that it's challenging, that it's like we no pain, no gain. And we're not doing that anymore either. Okay? We're going to thrive. We are coming into the alignment of thriving, into the alignment that it is easy, into the alignment that it is already yours, and that we just have to stop waiting for the thing that we're waiting for. Like, stop waiting. It's just done. Name it, claim it, demand it, command it. Be open to it being shifted a little bit, not being exactly the way that you expect it to be. And that's where that caveat is. And that's where sometimes we're delaying the thing because we're so focused and so specific. And in many ways, we do have to be intentional in regards to our vision, but we have to be open to our ancestors, to the creator, to be able to say like, yo, tweak it however you need, but this is what I'm thinking. So, you know what I'm saying? And be open to however it comes in form and experience, because it is always going to be for your highest good, especially when you surrender and you have that level of trust. What else came up? Hey, Larry, how are you? Thank you for joining. Always good to feel you in the space. Hey, Fatima. Thank you. Thank you. Welcome, welcome. Then this morning, another download, because I often, like when I'm waking up in the lull of sleep, I'm in direct communication. It's happened since I was little, where I'm just like conversating with the creator, like talking, saying through, and I'm sleeping. Like I'm literally sleeping, but it's lucid. It's but like lucid dreaming, but it's like we're actually conversating. The clear audience is so loud. It's so clear. I'm responding back, etc. And I was in this kind of feeling, which I sometimes wake up with in terms of, okay, this is the day. Okay, I got to get this done in the day. Like, okay, there's a lot on my plate and okay, and this and, financial things and all of these things, right? So it's, feels sometimes a little bit of a in my stomach in the mornings. I go to sleep and I sleep like a baby. And that's how I know that I am in alignment with peace. But when I start the morning, not always, but some mornings, I wake up with a little, with the daunting of the day, right? Cool. So I'm in this moment this morning of the daunting of the day. So I'm feeling it to heal it, right? Feel it to heal it. I'm in that. And as I'm conversating and I'm saying like, I trust though, I know, like I know, like we're in this conversation. And then I hear, the longer it takes, the more it makes. And I'm like, what exactly do you mean by that? And ultimately the clarity and confirmation and the way that I was walked through that quote, the longer it takes, the more it makes, was that however long it takes, more abundance, the more patience you have, the more you are going to be rewarded for it. It is about the vortex. It is about the escrow. It is about the accumulation that is constantly being added to, That's the more in store. Don't worry about no linear time with this. Every single second, minute, all of the things that we put ourselves in construct and saying it's taking too long, escrow, the more. So the longer it takes, the more it makes. And I was just like the like the relief that I felt to not just hear it, because I needed clarification on what I heard on that quote, and the way that I was coaxed and walked through it and reassured very verbally, the way that I just explained it to you, and more, was so incredibly comforting, to the point where it becomes like, oh, well then take your time. And that is like everything, to be like, oh, well then, do you? Okay, spirit, carry on, whenever, because that means however long, you mean the longer, the more, okay, then yes, patience, gratitude, and faith. We're good. Trust me when I tell you, nothing can come before its time. And even when you're putting in and you have a date in mind and you have a plan in mind and you have all of these things in mind, yes, have your plan, have your petition, have your prayer, have your purpose, absolutely. But ultimately, you have to be in full surrender. You have to be in full surrender. You have to be in the energy and alignment with trusting this divine method and process and journey, and because it's already done. It's already written, and we are writing it too. We are a part of it too. But God is the editor. ultimately. Like, yes, creator, but we're co-creating. But as we are writing this story of our lives and creating the narratives that we are creating, we have to give it up to God to be the editor, because we're not always writing the right stuff, y'all. We are not always writing the right stuff. So give it up to God at that point. If we have free will and we even have the blessing to be able to initiate this script, we have to give it up to the sacred at that point and be like, all right, tweak it as you see fit. What did I miss? What did I misspell? Because we are spelling with every single word that we speak and that we script. Ashe? What else? Reciprocity came up. And as I was in the live last night, we're talking about this notion of reciprocity and how we just think of reciprocity as being in a relationship, two different people, and what you give to that person, you want to make sure that you are getting from that person as well, right? So that it's fair, the sense of equality, we think of reciprocity. But the download that came while I was in the live was that we are not actually doing and aligning with reciprocity in regards to our own selves. Because we are more often than not, especially as light workers and empaths, we're more often than not giving and not practicing receiving, not asking for help, not allowing the help. So we cannot get if we are not practicing receiving, right? Like we're literally telling spirit, I don't know how to receive. I don't know how to accept. I don't know how to surrender. I don't know how to do that. And at the very least, even if we, in theory, know how, I'm not practicing it. So it's not first, second nature for us to open ourselves up to the universe in order to actually receive the things that we're hoping to get. It is a beautiful thing just to give, and to give without expecting anything in return, absolutely. But where are we open, and making sure that we're open and that we're aligning with self-reciprocity, tapping in with spirit and being like, I'm giving this thing and I'm sharing this thing and I want to give and it's natural for me to give, but it should be as natural for us to get. You get it? You get me? So that came through. And then something in regards to like conflict. I wrote something to somebody today, and as I typed it, I was like, ooh, because they're going through a little something, right? With somebody, going a little through with something, and this person is like really instigating a situation, and they're really like kind of pushing, like they're really playing with some fire, right? So this person made a reference to what is going to get exposed ultimately, because they're going to speak their truth about this thing, and it's going to be more in a public kind of forum, right? So right away, as they said that, and I was encouraging them and co-signing, word up, I said, we're spilling all the tea and letting it burn whoever chooses to play with fire. Oftentimes, people play with us and they get away with it because we don't do nothing, because we don't say nothing, right? We don't let them get burnt. It is time to spill the tea and let it burn whoever wants to play with fire. So that is, not as high vibrational as you're used to with me here, but I keep it real. I keep it real. And the problem often is for those of us that get perceived as sweet and kind, the kindness taken for weakness, and because they don't say and they don't ruffle feathers and they're always prioritizing somebody else's peace above their own, right? People will push our buttons. People will try us. People will take the risk because they don't see any risk. The risk ultimately is you do you, say whatever you want to say, treat me however you want to treat me. When it comes time, divine time, spill the tea and let them get burned if they choose to play with fire. Because people like us also let them know, it's not very nice. Actually, that's not true. Like, why are you doing that? Like, why are you saying that? And they keep playing with fire. Spill that hot tea, baby. Spill that hot tea. Okay? Ashe. Let them burn their damn tongue on your hot tea. Right? Right. What else? Divine will, 10 energy. Portal, 999 portal. about to walk into this new portal. Think of this 999 portal that's coming in as the end of the year, but that only happens every 10 years kind of thing. That's what this energy is. It is like a ending of the endings kind of thing. It is the end of the end of, it is the end of a cycle, literally the end of a cycle, a 10-year, 9-year cycle. 9-year going into 10. So when we're, last day of the new year, we're cleaning and we're washing all our clothes and we're, exfoliating and we're trimming our hair and we're doing all of the things to make sure that we step into the new year with this new renewed energy. That's got to be like times 9, times 10 kind of energy for this 999 portal. And then we still have time to declutter and to clear out and whatever, but you want to activate it in regards to what it is that you're leaving behind that you do not want to flow into this new 10-year with. So start thinking about it now. This is the heads up of how you prepare for this 999 portal, what it is that you want to clear out. It is 2 days after our lunar eclipse in Pisces, which is also ending completion energy because Pisces is the last sign of the zodiac, and then leading into our second Virgo new moon, which is going to be a solar eclipse. Very, very powerful time. Like, again, for the clearing out, for the detoxifying. September 7th is also Yemoya's feast day. Yemoya is the ocean, is the catharsis, is the salt water. So do your salt water cleanses, clearing out, put a little salt in your water as you're manifesting, as you're speaking into your water again, as we're spelling ourselves, as we're scripting. Put some salt in a spray bottle and spray yourself through the day, spray your environment. If you're somewhere and you're feeling a little bad juju, spray that shit. You know what I'm saying? Tap into Yemoya energy to clear, to come into catharsis, to again think about what it is that we are detoxing that we do not want to carry over into the 10-year, into our new year, 2026. Very, very powerful. Like, y'all, it's really, really real. It's really, really real. So it is, I was going to say the time, but I usually say for y'all to say the time, but I'm going to actually, because I have to go, 2:39, we're going to tap in for our angel number. And y'all should follow me on TikTok, Sabrina Sahara Shares. I go live now every night at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I do speed reads. So I do a collective reading to start off, and then I tap in for individuals. It is first come, first serve. I usually do have to close the list fairly quickly because I only stay on for about an hour and a half. And it's good vibes, and community is building, and you should come. Okay, I won't give the heads up of what it's going to be tonight because I change themes every night, use different decks every night. Last night we were tapping into meditation. So I was giving exercises specific for each individual in terms of meditation practices that are good for them. I've done one for crystals, crystal cure. So people were getting a crystal that they should be working with. I did one for self-care. So changing it up every so often. And yes, I won't share what tonight's is, but I will post it around 8:30 on my TikTok page. So Sabrina Sahara Shares. Come and hang, come and channel with me, because when I tap in, especially for the collective reading, it's all of our energies coming in together that brings through the message that we all need to receive. So 2:39, different perspective. Take new chances. Your angels note that in everything that has changed and left, there is room for new growth. Consider something with an altered perspective and see how it can now benefit you. This is exactly what we're talking about. The release, the things that don't serve, that it will always for us. It is always for us, whatever it is. Like, and again, that energy of the longer it takes, the more it makes. Let things take its time, because timing is divine. And we have this concept of linear time that is also very fear-based, because we're looking at the bill and we're looking at when this is due, and we're like all of the thing, the date and the this and the what am I going to do? What am I going to do? And it makes us have this sense of urgency that is, again, very rooted in fear. So when we clear that out and we don't come into the energy of chasing money, that's when we start focusing on our creativity, start focusing on our purpose, and that ultimately is going to lead us to the money that is a symptom of our actual vibration. So, whoop, there it is. I'll read it again, different perspective, take new chances. It was also talking about, I just mentioned off the top as well, that when we're on the edge of a cliff, we're like standing at the edge of a cliff and we're in that fear base and we're freaking out and we're shaking, right? And that's a choice, to be paralyzed in fear. But you can also take the chance and just leap off that cliff, just like the Fool card, just like the journey in tarot that ultimately we are all as archetypes experiencing. We start as this fool that has to take the first step, that has to take the first leap, that has to make a choice without knowing where that choice is going to lead. Through faith, through gratitude, through patience, you will find your way. And it's not always supposed to be easy. I know we say it's supposed to be easy, but we are dealing with duality and polarity in this dimension. Until we completely shift timelines as we're speaking to the cells and the selves in our bodies, we're here and we have to navigate it accordingly and realistically, but miraculously, and accept and embrace miracles happening in your life, okay? Different perspective. Take new chances. Your angels note that in everything that has changed and left, there is room for new growth. Look at something differently. Consider something with an altered perspective and see how it can now benefit you. So what has happened? What did you feel was a loss? What did you feel didn't work, didn't happen the way that you want it to? Switch the perspective. Look at it from a different angle. This is hangman energy as well. To be like, you know what? This is what it's supposed to be. I have more to do. This is how I'm supposed to process this instead. Now I have to be open to what could happen now that plan B is in effect, even though I was really banking on plan A. Now let me look at what can come from plan B and C and D and whatever, because again, no guarantees that even B is gonna work, right? But you have to just be in that serenity mode. Tap into the serenity prayer in terms of the things that you cannot change and accepting it, you know, but never giving up. Always finding a way around a particular conflict or situation to make it work for you. So that's it for today. I knew it was going to be a long one today because of these downloads. I'll make sure I didn't forget anything. I think I got it all. But yeah, vibes, y'all, with this eclipse season. It is going to be intense. You know, they always are. Eclipse season is always intense. It is what it is. But we're going to be all right. We gonna be all right. Believe and receive. It's again, completion energy. When things end, when things are changing and, you know, morphing, this is like what happens with the butterfly in the cocoon, in the chrysalis. Like the caterpillar liquefies before it becomes a butterfly. It doesn't sound pleasant. This is Phoenix rising from the ashes. That doesn't sound pleasant because that kind of requires this combustion of fire. You know what I mean? So when we look at the kind of transformation, we look at a lotus and the lotus can only come from grime and goo and mud. Doesn't sound pleasant, but wow. Just focus on the wow. Again, that's part of the imagining the better. We got to focus more on the imagining the better. We just stop at the liquefied and we stop at the burn and we stop at the mud. Don't stop there, because if you stop there, then yes, you're going to not want to make that transition. You're not going to want to make that choice. That's going to put you in the chrysalis because you're like, wait, what comes next? Focus on the butterfly. Focus on the phoenix. Focus on the lotus. Ashe? I love y'all. I'm live tonight at 10 o'clock on the TikTok. So you should come and you should hang. Sabrina Sahara shares on the TikTok. It's a vibe. So you should come. Even if you don't get a reading, you get a collective reading. So right off the top, come right at 10 Eastern Standard Time and get part of, you know, the energy for the collective reading. You know, I always read all the comments and it's a vibe. It's a vibe. And like the people send all the hearts and all these, like, it feels like a game. Like we're playing like video games together. It's super fun. It's super fun. And like, it's so much better than Instagram. So yeah, I'm glad that they did what they did because it served. It definitely served. So here I am. YouTube on Tuesdays at 2, as always, and then the TikTok, general posts and such, but live at 10 p.m. nightly, every night. Until if I can't, then I'll post earlier that I can, because obviously things can happen. I may be in studio later than whatever. But on average, if I'm home, I will at least for an hour pop on the TikTok at 10 p.m. So come and vibe, come and hang. And thank you, and I love you, and thank you, and I love you. And in the meantime and in between time, lest we forget, time to get back to natural. Peace, peace, peace.